Heaven doesn't rush you. It waits for your attention. Listen for a moment. Your body, your mind, your heart are trying to tell you something louder than the noise of the day. You've been waking up tired even after sleep. Small irritations become cliffs. Dreams you once held feel paused or pushed to the back shelf. Old patterns whisper at night and your emotions swing like doors on a wind you didn't expect. These are not random failures or signs that you missed your only chance. There is a spiritual logic to this season, and heaven is nudging you to pay attention. If this is speaking to you, pause now and take one slow, steady breath. If you want, write one word in the comments that names what you feel. Tired, restless, afraid, hopeful. Stay with that single word for a second longer. What heaven wants you to know is this: the kinds of struggle you are experiencing are often the very signals of a season of shift. In the spiritual economy, conflict frequently shows up right before a door opens. The enemy stirs because he knows something good is being birthed. The Father allows refinement because destiny is being formed. This is not punishment. It's preparation. Listen quietly as I point to 3 signs heaven often wants you to recognize in these seasons. Sign 1. Your discernment sharpens. Suddenly you begin to see through what used to fool you. A smile feels hollow. A plan that sounded brilliant now rings false. You notice subtle lies and hidden agendas, as if a light has been turned on in a dim room. This is not paranoia. It's grace. It is heaven training your eyes for what will be entrusted to you. When your sight changes, treat it like a gift. Observe, but do not immediately act out of alarm. Let clarity settle before you make decisions. Sign 2. Old temptations resurface. Habits you thought were behind you knock on the door again. Old fears, familiar shortcuts, the very comforts that once dulled your calling. This is painful to admit, and it can feel like regression. Hear me. Resurfacing temptation is not proof that you failed forever. It is a test of what has really changed. The fact that these things are coming back means they are being exposed so they can be dealt with. Resist rushing to self-condemnation. Name what returns, bring it into the light, and let the process of refinement continue. Sign 3. There is a pervasive stretching and heaviness. You move through a quiet electric tension. Your spirit feels stretched thin, your body feels weary in a new way, and prayer feels more like breathing through water. This heaviness is not necessarily illness, nor is it always spiritual attack in the lurid sense. Sometimes it is the pressure of metamorphosis. Chrysalis does not look comfortable. God is enlarging a place in you so he can put more of himself there. Stay tender with your body and seek wise care, but also recognize that heaviness can be the sign of imminent elevation. These 3 signs, discernment, resurfacing temptation, and spiritual stretching, are not isolated. They fit a pattern we see again and again in Scripture. Jesus was led into the wilderness before he began public ministry. He faced testing in a barren place and came out ready to teach, heal, and launch the kingdom. David was pursued and worn down by the hunt of Saul before he took the throne. The wilderness refined his faith and leadership. Joseph fell into a pit, into prison, into seasons that seemed to cancel his future. Yet each step was shaping him for the palace he would inhabit. The pattern is clear. Struggle precedes stewarding. Pressure precedes promotion. Know this deeply. Heaven is not surprised by your season. Angels are not idle. The Father is not unaware. The very difficulties you feel are being met by divine attendants whose assignments you cannot see. That does not mean every sore place will be instantly fixed, and it does not mean your hardship is an easy thing to carry. But it does mean you are not abandoned, and the presence of conflict is often the clearest evidence that what God intends for you is of great significance. The enemy fights harder where there is greater light. That opposition can be read as confirmation. The nearer you are to a step of destiny, the more resistance you might sense. So what should you do? Heaven's invitation now is quiet and simple. Listen, not frantic, not reactive, but still and attentive. Listen quietly to the small nudges, a memory that surfaces with new meaning, an inner conviction about what must end, a word that keeps returning in your prayers. Hold your ground. Don't trade rest for performance. Do not leap into frantic fixes. Let the refining flame do its work in you while you remain rooted in the truth that God is forming you for something larger than this moment. Practical tenderness for this season. Guard your rest. Protect your margins. Name what you feel without shame. Ask for counsel from someone wise and steady. If you are under care for health or mental health, keep walking that path. Spiritual seasons do not cancel human needs, but also take time each day to be still. 10 minutes of silence, a short walk without your phone, a simple breath where you invite God to speak. This is not a formula, it's posture. It helps you hear the quiet voice above the clamor. Chosen one, do not be diminished by what you are going through. You are being prepared, not punished. The strain in your hands is the shaping of a tool. The sleepless nights are a part of labor that will yield a birth. The rising temptations are the last attempts to keep you from stepping into what you were made for. Now listen quietly with me for a moment. Breathe in slowly. Let your shoulders drop. In the silence, whisper one honest sentence to God. No long speech, just one truth about how you feel. Then listen. Stay in that stillness for a minute. You may not hear a booming answer, but heaven often speaks first in a small clarifying thought, a shift in your heart, or renewed courage to keep going. Before we close, hear this prophetic reassurance. Your season is not wasted. Protection surrounds you. There are divine arrangements moving even when you cannot perceive them. Breakthrough is nearer than it appears. Hold on to the promise of a new dawn by holding steady in the present dark. If this word landed where you are, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let this be a bridge for another tired soul. What heaven wants you to know is simple and tender. Listen quietly. Be still. The struggle is not the end of your story. It is part of the writing. Remain faithful, stay soft to God, and keep walking into the destiny being made for you.